Hi everybody, Mamie Pack here. So I thought this week for my midweek 3 I would do something a little bit different, and I'm going to do a video. So this week my husband and I, we celebrated our 14th year anniversary, and I wanted to just share with you 3 prayers that I pray on a regular basis that have helped me steward being a wife differently. And so I want to kind of give you a little background. I grew up in a single parent home. I did not have all these examples of healthy, godly marriages. So to be able to have the kind of marriage that I have with my husband, it blows me away. I'm so thankful to God because I didn't know this kind of marriage was possible. So very early on in our marriage, I'm a communicator. I love to talk. I love to share my day. And so very early on, one of my prayers for my husband was, Lord, help me to hear what he doesn't say. I realized, my husband was coming home working in the Navy. Some days he was tired. He was, just exhausted. And he didn't always want to talk and share. And really some things he couldn't share because of the nature of his job. So I really was just like, Lord, help me to hear beyond the words. Help me to be able to pay attention. And so I really trusted the Holy Spirit to help me to look at body language and help me to be sensitive to when he needed silence and when he needed me to care for him, and when to be still enough to just let the Holy Spirit work what needed to happen in his heart. That was a little bit hard for me in the beginning because I wanted to do the interrogation. What was your day? What did you do? Who did you see? What did you talk? I wanted so much information to understand what his day was like and things like that. But sometimes that made me pushy and it could be smothering. And so instead I was just like, okay, God, I need to know how to be able to hear beyond what I'm used to hearing it with my natural ears. I need to be sensitive of when to speak and when to be silent. So that one prayer really kind of helped me to not want to just pounce when he would come in the door, and not to kind of attack of, well, I want more, give me more type of thing. By doing that, I realized over time, he would share on his own. He would go ahead and open up because I was just giving him room to be able to create the safe space for him to want to be able to talk to me and for him to be led. And it really just kind of changed the dynamic of our marriage very early on. And then, of course, being a mom of boys communicate so similarly. They don't want to share, how was your day? Fine, good. So I really had to learn how to take a step back and allow the Holy Spirit to guide me on my conversation and the timing of my conversation. The second prayer that I started praying very early in our marriage was, Lord, help me to love my husband the way you made him. And I'm a little embarrassed to admit that in those beginning years, I was trying to change Stanley a lot. I thought he needed to go to college. I thought he needed to do different things with his career. I was like, hey, this is what you should do. This will work better, because those were things that were familiar to me. Those were things that were comfortable for me. And but I was pushing him to be somebody he wasn't. And it was leading to uncomfortable conversations. And I just had to push pause. And I'm like, okay, we're having too many intense fellowship conversations over this same topic. And I realized it wasn't a we issue, it was a me issue. And so I really just went to God. I'm like, Lord, show me how you made him. Help me to love him the way you designed him, not the way I think he needs to change. And so God began revealing to me about his personality and how to be able to appreciate it, and how the way God made him to be a blessing for our marriage, to be a blessing in the way God designed me, and how to be able to guide our home and to guide our community and how to build legacy. It completely changed the way I loved my husband, because I was no longer looking at his shortcomings and looking for ways that he needed to be the way I wanted him to be. I was able to see all the beautiful ways that God uniquely made him, and it helped me to appreciate him even more. And then my third prayer that has really kind of helped is, Lord, help me to serve my husband. Sometimes I can be selfish. That's just the truth of the matter. I want what I want when I want it. And sometimes that means I'm not being sensitive to what my husband needs. And so I just really kind of, Lord, help me to have a heart of service. Help me to know how to serve him. What is it that he needs? So that way when he would come home, I could be aware of whether or not he was tired, whether or not he was worn, whether or not he was feeling discouraged, and not just, let me talk about me. Let me talk about my day. What I need. It really helped me to be outward focused and to be more aware of how was I creating the environment for my husband to want to talk to me? How was I creating the environment where he felt safe enough that he could talk and I wouldn't interrupt him, that he could open up his heart and I would be there to listen and not take it personally, not get emotional, not turn it around and make it about me. So those are 3 prayers that I, even now, 14 years later, I still continue to pray over my marriage, for me as a wife, to help me to continue to be the best wife that I can be for my husband. So thank you for joining me on this journey. And I would love to know, what are some prayers that you pray?